2, 1,
Oh.
and go.
Hello, Patreon friends. Welcome to Last Call of Cthulhu. We have just finished an awesome episode of Down Darker Trails, where I warned the players before we started that there was going to be some compulsion this time. GMs, if you're going to do something like that, make sure you talk with your players beforehand so that it's not just like, you can't do anything, you don't have a choice, because that's not so fun for the players. If you do it, if you clear it with them and then make it a loose compulsion where they still have some agency, it can be a fun mechanic to work, but and to cause some really interesting party conflict. But just doing it out of nowhere is kind of a jerk move.
I missed that part of the the safety briefing.
Whoops. Who knew Thomas darts away from his desk all the time? That's a good.
How for you? Did you do that tonight?
Yeah, I didn't need it. That's good. I didn't.
Maybe that's how you resisted.
Yeah.
So I said during the game that I have stolen this shamelessly, like almost whole cloth from another source. And Alondra, you think you might know what it was?
I'm questioning now. At the time, I thought I knew, but based on where it's gone, I'm now questioning.
Well, let's be clear.
So I stole the
idea
not confident
of a child whose voice is hypnotic, and and has a crusade of people with them. That's what I stole. There were no cats or clay people.
Okay.
I don't know if this is correct, but I was waiting to be like, I want the knife.
The golden child. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
So there's an old Warhammer module campaign called The Thousand Thrones.
I was looking for an 80s movie.
Yeah. That
is also kind of where
trying to go.
And the reason that The Thousand Thrones is interesting is that it is one of the worst things ever written. It is a module where every single scenario is written by a different person, and none of them talk to each other. It's fascinating because I love the central part of it is the crusade, and this kid is like he's a mutant. He's got this, and his chaos power is that if you hear his voice, you will give your life for him. And there's all these people that are using him to try and like overthrow the governor, the emperor. They're saying he's the true emperor, blah blah blah. But like the game, all the scenarios are like just and now you're over here, and something happens that's unrelated to anything that ever it's like people have written like books on the internet about like trying to make it a good game.
I feel like this could hijack the entire rest of the storyline for Down Darker Trails.
My God, as soon as the idea of getting the child into like the actual world, I want that to happen so bad.
I mean, with us, it might happen.
Yeah.
We have to derail this reality somehow.
I mean, we've already broken one reality. What's another?
Might as well just keep shearing threads off the string theory of the universe. We'll just keep creating multiverses. What's the worst that could happen?
TVA.
I'm so glad down that trail,
my dear.
Yeah. There have been multiverses before. One less. There's one less. No, there used to be.
Sometimes you got to sacrifice one to make room for others. It's fine.
Because there's only so much room, really.
That's right.
Yeah, you know what they say, you can't make an omelet without annihilating a universe.
Now there's a title.
There's a title.
Alondra, it was awesome of you to join. It was you brought all sorts of so during the break, Alondra was like, if you want me to stop, like, because I gave her very little.
And I gave you very little back.
Well, but that's what I want. But so when Alondra was like, oh, and then the fish people and all that stuff, that was just her being awesome and just throwing stuff out there.
Bringing things out. Oh, that's nice. That's right. You're bringing the things in.
And, the answer is you should never stop doing that, because whatever you throw out there will pick up somehow, and it will become something. And so, that just keep throwing stuff out there. It's awesome.
It was also very interesting. I did not plan to channel my inner Amy as much as I think I did, but I knew I needed to bring a certain level of shenanigans to try to fill such a large and impressive seat. And it was interesting because the backstory that I gave, a little lift behind the curtain for the patrons, in order to justify some of my stats, because that's how I like to play as a player, I gave myself a lot of high survival type stats and then some weird stuff in like occult and religion. And the whole idea of the whole concept was my mom was super evangelical. My dad was like a redneck survivalist. And the combination of those things, my high school rebellion was hanging out with like the kids who would have been the kids from The Craft, who were like doing Ouija boards and reading tarot under the bleachers to like rebel in the Bible Belt. And I definitely expected the like survivalism and occult skills to be more the thing that I was going to need in the Dreamlands. So then when I rolled a 93 on my power roll, I was like, oh, well, I'm glad I was raised super religious because this is about to get very uncomfortable as I tap into all of those years of living at the church and going to like evangelical revivals and that kind of shit.
Yeah, that's something
Yeah.
that Alondra and I were talking about a little bit in private chat, where it's like the squeaky bit wasn't so much the like losing of control. It was like, oh, I have been at this revival.
Yeah.
It hasn't been with tens of thousands of people, but I've been there. I've been, slain in the spirit and, all of that sort of shit, where it's like, Alondra is exactly what I'm talking about.
And it was super uncomfortable, but also not, because I knew exactly how to play it, which was very weird.
Yeah, it was definitely one of
Wow.
those, pull that shit back forward from, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dang.
So it's like, well,
dang.
here we are again.
So
it all comes around.
my stepmom was a librarian in small town Texas, and during one of the summer reading programs, she wanted to bring to the end of the celebration thing, she wanted to bring a fortune teller, because it was
Oh.
like, like the theme was something like the magic of reading.
Oh, yeah.
And it became like like there were letters to the editor.
Yep.
It was a whole thing.
Wow.
My dad
I mean, you laugh, but that is exactly
Yep.
how it would have gone down in Fairbanks.
my
Dang.
dad wrote a letter to the editor where he goes, my sons play Dungeons and Dragons and I think they're pretty great. And I'm like, well, we're getting beat up tomorrow.
Was
Dang.
trying so hard to find a chance to make a satanic panic joke. Maybe next week I can get it in, because I'm in the
Probably next week, to be
because
honest.
my character's in the right era to absolutely have lived through that.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. No, I mean, I mean, I went to Catholic school and stuff when I was little, but I never did the revival thing. So that was, but I mean, we know about it because it's a thing.
Yeah,
So-
evangelicals are a special breed. And this is not meant as an offensive thing. It
No,
just is very
just
different.
different.
Very
Yeah.
specific.
And having grown up in it and then having spent the better part of a decade out of it, just looking back at it is fascinating.
I
Totally.
really when I first was thinking about using this whole Crusade of the Childs thing, I really wanted it to be like a 20s, like I could totally see like in the swamp, like those the snake handler people, and
Right.
Absolutely.
and tongues and all that stuff, and I could totally see that sort of thing and have it slowly grow and grow. But we had already added way too much to the Masks campaign to like build that in there. That would have been a bridge too far, perhaps.
Mm.
Well, the other thing that was interesting, when I thought I knew what you had pulled it from, and I was also originally on that track of 80s movie, and I was specifically going 80s horror movies, just because
The
like
stuff.
I mean, the first place I went was The Omen, which wasn't exactly right, but it was like setting me on the initial trajectory of like creepy child that could do things. But the other thing is it played so specifically into the like Wizard of Oz thematic that had kind of come up and that we
Yeah.
had kind of talked about, with like this guy who pops out from behind the curtain and shoves his child out and then no one sees the child. And I'm like, is this just a direct Wizard? I think it's got to be more specific than just Wizard of Oz, but maybe I'm totally on the wrong track here.
If you've not seen the stuff, drop everything and go. It was on Channel 2, I think, weekly back in the like.
Was that one of
Mm.
the like Sven Gulli hosted creature feature?
No, it was
things,
just
or-
like their regular movie, but it was like
Oh.
it's about the stuff is about a dessert that takes over the world.
Yes. Oh, that one. I remember that
It's
one.
fantastic.
Excuse me?
And it-
Interesting. Interesting.
It's this weird like I'm guessing late 80s. It's pretty terrible, but it's fantastic.
Interesting.
It's like a frozen yogurt kind of thing, but it's like some sort of alien mold that when you eat it, it takes you over. And so there's like some invasion of the body snatchers. There's some
it's like Venom kind of thing.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Free with ads on Tubi TV if you want to watch it right now.
Stuff is fantastic. It had the weird, like 9/11 was a hoax guy from Law and Order as the star.
Oh, geez.
And Garrett Morris, for some, like the guy who wrote the stuff apparently hated Famous Amos. And so there's a whole character, Garrett Morris plays Chocolate Chip Charlie. And all it is just shots at Famous Amos. And you're just like, what? Like, what a bizarre, like, take that, Famous Amos. It was very strange. All right, we are far afield.
I'm really glad that I also created a character that allowed Ezra to do like movie sidebar again.
Yes.
I mean, Ezra never needs the encouragement.
It's true, you know.
I realize I said this already as a quote, but the thought of taking Nightmare on Elm Street as like an event that happened was like, oh my God, what happened on Elm Street?
Yes, that was awesome.
That would be funny. Now I want, you know, Freddy to show up or something like that.
We could end up in 1997 and have to battle.
I mean,
we are in the Dreamland.
Exactly. We are in the Dreamland. This is Freddy Krueger territory.
I mean, so here's the thing. I was hoping, I didn't know what it was, but like since there was time travel in there and just like the weirdness of the Dreamlands, I was really hoping it was like you're playing from Time Bandits with the kid.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that would be good too. Yeah. So I'm gonna do something I haven't done before. I'm gonna put you guys on the spot a little bit here. Abe and Shaman disappeared. Why did they disappear?
I think someone woke them up. Someone or something woke them up back in the real world.
Well, I think they can only allow so many people in with his magic. So then when we came, they left.
Okay, because 2 of you came and 2 left. I see.
But he's the one controlling the magic.
Maybe
I
that's
think
why.
Abe's venereal disease made him unfit to appear in the Dreamlands, and Shaman got pulled out because it was a penalty of like, you can't let someone like this in here. No. Doors closed for
Abe
you.
is
No, he woke him up because he needed someone. Can you look at this for me? You know medicine.
What the fuck was in that tea,
It is
man?
really bad. Yeah.
I don't believe Abe is allowed that close to children. I think that is.
Oh, there we go. It's the restraining order.
There you go.
Oh no, Abe is not someone who would be a problem with children.
No, that's
Abe's a
Just
father.
causing them,
He's
not
a father.
Causing them, not the other problem.
Probably not a good father. Although he did, like, you know, he's trying
he
to like
said he
take care
wanted
of
to
his
take
fish.
care of them.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Doing
he did say-
the math.
Yeah.
He did say that he would love his fish children.
It's true. It's true.
But he didn't say anything about his human children.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
Yeah. Those lazy bums.
I'm so sad that Ronnie didn't get to meet Abe. That would have been either the best or the worst case scenario.
There is a slight chance that something like that could happen. We'll have to see how the story goes. I really enjoyed. I hadn't even thought about it at the time, but I really enjoyed, Thomas, the wrinkle of you like being injured and not being able to be healed. I thought that
was wow.
added a.
I felt that I couldn't refuse the blessing of the child, right?
That would
Um,
not
Just,
probably
I'm
look
gonna
great.
walk it off. I'm gonna walk it off.
Yeah. So I knew there was going to be something bad. He took it better than I thought,
Yeah.
or maybe
I
that's
had not considered you guys trying to form like Force 10 from Navarone and sneak the kid into Ulthuan.
As I was saying the thing about like, no, we'll just put up in the Winnebago, it's protective to people. I was like, I shouldn't be saying this. This is going to get us killed. But I'm also like, no, in Veronica's mind, this makes perfect sense because she believes she can protect the child.
Yeah, and that's exactly where Susanna is with it as well, where it's like it makes the most sense. You're not killing the land, you're getting the thing accomplished quickly, and you're not giving assassins more chances to get at the kid. I should have said that in game, but that was definitely in Susanna's head where it was like, is this going to happen every like week or so? It's so
Right?
much better to just get him in there.
That would make so much sense if we were like, if we ever executed anything competently, Like that's
Yeah, but
that's the
see-
main hurdle. Is like you can.
But we
trust these
try.
with us.
We try.
But Susanna's force of fanaticism at this point is a force of nature all on its own.
See, that cynicism is why they made Jared captain.
And it wasn't some stupid patriarchal bullshit, because that's exactly where Susanna went with it, where it was like, oh yeah, the one person who is clearly under the influence, who's male with a dick, is going to be the one.
No, it's the way I see it. He was risking to kill his own friends to protect the kid. You can't get more devoted than that. Like I think that's shown through.
Someone said in the chat, and I might say it in Susanna's voice at some point, but it was like, the next time you shoot me, you better make sure to kill me, because next time I'm going to shoot you.
Every chance to get Susanna showing Jared the real badge. You know?
It was funny too, because Jared's cynicism compared to the Susanna and Veronica kind of going just like full like, yep, okay, we're in. Like, while it was all still devotion, it was interesting because there were a couple of points when Jared said something and I was like, would this be enough to trigger doubt in Veronica? Like I don't know what the condition, like I'm not going to question that right now, but like what, if any, conditions having failed that role and having now kind of been devoted, like what is the thing that would spark any sort of doubt or questioning in there? It was just an interesting thought where I'm like, I mean, that's not in play right now, but is there a condition under which that occurs? Or is this like, once you have heard the voice of the child, you are in?
I mean, if you offer me one, we'll certainly discuss it. You know,
Yeah.
if you offer me one that you think is strong enough to do that, I don't, you know, I think that could be really interesting. If something like that happened.
I can't imagine what would make me doubt the child. That's just, it's hard to.
I mean, it is entirely possible that Elias might say something that would make Susanna go, huh.
Obviously the wizard's the bad guy, so you know, and he's
That's
using
kind
the
of where
child
my
as a
head is
battery.
at too.
Yeah.
Well, and since Veronica
He's a cleric.
that doesn't mean he's a good guy.
He's a
Or maybe
warlock.
I say
The
as a
child is
cleric
his
main.
patron.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the two cleric mains over here are like, there are evil gods too, and they have clerics.
Man, and inflict wounds is an awesome spell.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Well, now we're talking about D&D, so it's time to end this.
Not that we have much crossover, but I do want to give you guys one tidbit that I did pull something from my Delta Green campaign on TGN. That is the reference to the people from 2017 who came from 1953. That was an actual thing that happened in a Delta Green campaign that I played.
Nice.
And I was like, I'm just going to make that like, we absolutely could have been sucked through the Dreamlands in the context of what happened to us. So I'm just going to use that as part of like, yeah, they dipped through on the way through.
I've always wanted to play it. I don't know, you know, someday. There's a Fiasco play set where all of you play the same person time traveling, and you've all ended up at the same place. And I'm just like, I watched Jason Morningstar and a couple other guys play it, and I was just like,
No,
Yeah,
Ezra. You said that you were going to do the Jared episode. Stick with the Jared.
that's true. Yeah,
episode.
all the entire Jared. Yeah, that's right.
Instead of everyone is John, it's everyone is Jared.
I could totally do that. That would be epic.
It's an all.
No one's a sunbather though. That one's
Come on. That would have been perfect.
No, I'm the brilliant scientist, Jared.
Naked Jared was the happiest Jared.
He was also the one that was reduced to ashes and
Oh,
good
sure,
riddance.
okay.
But
I mean,
But he was happy on his way down.
in the moment.
that is like anti-Jared though.
Yes. I would love
To be happy is
anti-Jared.
anti-Jared?
Yes.
You can't be happy and be a Jared. That's just it's sick.
It's an anti-Jared. It would be perfect.
Anti-Jared. Patreons, thank you so much for all you do for Quests and Chaos. Really, mostly you just give us money, but thank you for that. That's wonderful.
I mean, that is not a small thing.
It's I mean, we all, you keep the lights on. See that one strip of lights to the left of Thomas? That is you, Patreon. You keep that light right there. You keep that one on.
We should get a
Also-
name tag on that light.
Just Patreon.
I mean, I don't know if
Plus lights.
anybody else noticed, but his camera quality is like today.
Oh.
So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's you guys. Upgrades to the studio and keeping the lights on.
It's not at all you guys, but my side company did buy all new cameras only for Quest and Chaos. But
Aw, that was
now
sweet.
that-
of you.
I
So-
was trying. Let the
I know,
patrons
I know.
have it.
but
so now they all
so
play
they
at
pay a portion of the rent, therefore
There we
I
go.
can use that portion of the rent to buy gear for the thing, but on taxes, it's a totally different company.
There you go. There you go.
Cut the feed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cut the feed.
Please, Patreons, do not go to the Virgin Islands and ask any questions at our bank. That's all we.
Mm-mm.
Boy, I hope this is on YouTube.
It will
Keep those
be.
diamond hands going.
Yes. Goodbye, Patreon friends.